Hey guys, today I have something nice to show you. I got an LED deck for my Dualtron Spider Limited. It's been really fun modifying and customizing my scooter, making it unique as well as improving style, looks, and performance. I'll make a video with all my modifications soon, but today let's take a detailed look at LED deck made by Carbonrevo. I've got it from Mini Motors USA, and while it's not cheap, it looks pretty amazing. You can select from over 350 modes, adjust animation speed for each, as well as create your own. There are a ton of animations, and cycling through all of them takes a while. There are quite a few that I ended up liking. I usually don't like very flashy ones, preferring smoothly changing colors, or even solid colors. You can select a single color as well if you're not into animations and attracting too much attention. Solid red and solid blue looks really nice in my opinion. Another one that I like is the rolling single color, animating from left to right. You can pick any color with this style of animation. There is also a remote control, and it's pretty small so that you can take it with you when you ride. It's about half the size of the stock Spider remote. Here's the LED deck itself. You can choose the base color from a couple of options, and I got red color with black finish on top. The red acrylic is translucent, and I think it looks really nice even when it's off. Let's take a look at installation. I'd say this is a medium difficulty task, maybe a little bit below medium if you've got all the right tools. It took me about an hour to install. The LED deck is installed on top of existing deck, so don't throw away your current deck just yet. Before you start opening up the scooter, it's important to turn it off. There's potentially 60 to 70 volts inside, which is not negligible. After you turn off the battery cutoff switch, it's important to power up the scooter to drain the remaining energy. You'll see it power up, voltage getting lower, and then screen starts flashing. This will drain all the energy in the capacitors, so it's more safe to handle. The next step is to remove the cover above the front wheel in order to route the wire into the battery compartment. You're going to need a Phillips screwdriver, and it helps to use a ratchet instead of a long screwdriver to fit between the cover and the front wheel. The cover that comes with stock Spider feels pretty cheap, and there is a nicer one available from Carbonrevo. I haven't decided whether to get it or not yet, but if I ever decide to make my scooter more waterproof, I might end up getting it. So the cable holes on the Spider are really small, and it's very hard to nearly impossible to feed the connectors from the LED deck through. I've decided to cut the wire and reconnect them once the cable is routed. I didn't see any way to avoid it on the Spider. Maybe on other Dualtron models, the holes are bigger. Feeding the cable through is pretty straightforward once there is no more big connectors. And the nicely braided cable is pretty easy to feed. Once you get the cable through, you can put the deck on top to see how much length you need to leave, to keep everything tight and looking clean. The hole into the battery compartment is not very big, but it's relatively easy to feed the cable here as well. You can pre-bend the wires up a little bit and catch them on the other end. Once you're holding both sides, you can tighten everything and finish feeding the cable through. Now we're ready to reattach the connectors. I start by stripping the wire on both ends, and it seems like 18 gauge option works best. You can also use a simple knife if you don't have a nice wire stripping tool like this. Once you strip the wires, you can twist them to connect. Make sure to connect silver to silver and red to red, but other than that, it's pretty easy. In order to have a very good electrical connection, and to make sure this connection is secure and doesn't come apart later, I've decided to solder the wires together. First, I'm applying a little bit of flux compound to clean the surfaces and make the solder flow everywhere nicely. You don't need much, and after you applied it, it's good to heat it up so it turns into liquid and flows everywhere. Next, applying a bit of solder on the soldering iron. This is a very basic soldering iron, as I don't need much precision here. When soldering, you want to touch the wires and hold the soldering iron for a few seconds to heat up the wires themselves. As a general tip, a good connection will look shiny. If it looks dull, it's called cold soldering, and it might break, so heat it up for a few seconds so that it looks shiny. Now that the connection looks good, let's insulate the wires. Any electrical tape works, just don't use duct tape or something. You want to insulate each wire individually so they don't short, as well as wrap everything together in the end to make the whole thing stronger. You need to find the headlight wire that's red and black that will connect to. You can find out which wire is headlight by disconnecting and carefully powering up the scooter to make sure headlight is not on. Just remember to discharge the scooter after doing this like you did in the beginning. Once it's connected, we can clean up the wires a little bit and make sure everything looks nice and clean inside. Before I close everything, I wanted to make sure that it actually works, so I carefully turned on the scooter, making sure not to touch anything inside and not standing too close. Powering up the scooter and using the fingerprint scanner to turn it on, it's nice to see that the LED deck lights up and looks really nice. Now that we confirmed that everything works, it's time to close everything up. You need to install the LED deck on top of existing deck and use longer screws provided in the package. The LED deck is not strong enough itself to take person's weight on top, so the existing deck is still needed to support the rider. Make sure to tighten the screws carefully, as I've heard the thread is pretty easy to strip. It didn't happen to me yet, as I've been pretty careful, but I wanted to pass along the warning. Turning on the deck here as well, just to confirm everything still works, and it looks really nice. Last thing is to reassemble the cover at the front above the wheel. This cover feels pretty cheap, as I mentioned before, but since I don't have anything better yet, it's going back up there. Try to push the new wire in as much as you can, so that the cover can be flat against the supports. Installing the cover is pretty easy, and you can use the same tool you did to remove it. And that's pretty much it. In the end, I really like it, especially since I can choose the colors based on my mood, either something colorful or a single color if I don't want to stand out too much. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as I'll be posting other modifications in the future. In addition to customizing my current scooter, I'm going to be reviewing other scooters as well, especially those that are new and just came out. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.